I think maybe the biggest learning is that there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And there are very many dedicated men and women in this department. And so what we're looking at trying to establish is a single lens. And that lens really has to do with climate risk to our ecosystem. So we're looking at forests and the coastal, basically mangroves and seagrass, looking at the changes that are happening physically in the ocean. And on land, basically land management issues. The issue there is, who is in harm's way and what is in harm's way. The resilience part really comes in when you think about risk management in terms of hazards that you know. So what you've experienced in the past, you manage that risk. But when you talk about resilience, you're really looking forward, and this is where the climate part comes in, because you're looking at the plausible, not the possible, but the plausible. And the reason we say that is that in terms of the climate science that is out there, it's always presented within a range, right? Highly likely, not likely. And as more data comes in, climate models actually become updated. One of the things that I had proposed to do and we're trying to get done at the department, just beginning to organize ourselves, is to establish what we're calling the natural resource geospatial database for the country. And that means that we'd be establishing the baselines in terms of our natural resources as assets. There is information, it just hasn't been here. Yeah. So, and then put in a way that in fact can be looked at in terms of layering all of these, diba? And so we need the baseline. And that's the work that you're gonna try and get done almost immediately, because it's from there that then we can begin to say, well, this probably should not be done this way, or not. But to establish the baseline, so we know from where we should be working. I think the most critical part now is to understand what's happening globally and how it affects the local communities. So each community and each ecosystem has its own specific context. And it's really in the intersection between these physical and social geographies that we need to locate the role of the department. So there are all these challenges, I would say, but there are also opportunities. We talked a little bit about biodiversity, and for example, the level of endemicity that there is in the Philippines is so high. We have so many endemic species, and one of the top countries in the world for endemic species. I think one of the biggest challenges is many of our cities are coastal. Many of our municipalities are coastal. We need to begin thinking about a way to manage our retreat from the coast, and not wait until something happens and then everything is destroyed, and then so globally, recently it was released that sea level rise globally. The Philippines has one of the fastest levels of sea level rise. And first of all, I'll say this: I'm not an expert on mining, and so I'm learning on the job. So one of the things we're doing is we're organizing an advisory council, and the advisory council will be made up of resource persons from academia, from the practice. The real, I think, challenge here is for us to understand what is going on, and that really has to do with enhancing our ability to observe, collect data and information, analyze what's going on, and then somehow fold that in to the programmatic management of whatever is already ongoing. So we look at extraction, but we need to look at rehabilitation. We need to look at restoration. We need to look at regeneration. Responsible mining, I think, has to do with your ability to address the social, environmental, and economic needs of whatever it is that you're doing. So I think what's important is the science must establish which way we need to go.
Yeah.
There is a responsibility to the environment, and there is a responsibility to the community.
Yeah.
And so we have to weigh all of that.